Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be there until 10 a.m. You can go now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Peace. Today, your hosts are Queen Aduni, Danny Stillwell, and Lolly Mariah Tolbert. Enjoy. Grand Rising. Welcome, everyone. You will see me today. I'm glad, I'm thankful to be seen, believe me. And, but I will, because I've had some work done on my mouth. I don't want to scare you all. So you get to see all of me, but only half of my face. Okay. And then if Lolly falls asleep, we know she's been producing all night. She's on her path of stardom. She is a star already, but she is manifesting it in the way that brings her a lot of notoriety and cashola and love and popularity, and they get to hear her heart. That's most important.
Can I add something?
Yes.
She is taking us places that even Beyonce has never gone.
I know that's right. Because she is the new generation.
Right.
And I want to add something. She wrote that down. She put the writing on the wall, and the angels is working.
She got to
Yes.
work.
Kingdom work, yes.
Yes. Grand Rising, Jackie and Bridget.
Bridget is
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I know she's in and out. Bridget is a busy, well, I can't say everybody are busy. We are some busy sisters doing, as Juanita says, doing our kingdom work.
Yes.
We came here to do, and even if we have to go through some few alterations so that we can do more work. And what happened yesterday was I was not under, they didn't put me under aesthetics. What is that called?
Anesthesia?
Yeah. So I could see and hear everything and sometimes feel. And when they got through with the top half of my mouth, my body had started going like this. And they said, oh, we got to stop. And I can't go back until the day before Thanksgiving. So I have to walk around with like this kind of. Anyway, but I am here and God is good no matter what's happening with the body, no matter what's happening with the mind. So our lesson today with the Course in Miracles is that I am one with God. So there it is. Oops, there it is. I am one with God. So, and all of it. So let's have those who are on the line. Let's go ahead and get a greeting from each of you. I'm, so that we're not waiting who's next. Why don't we start with Juanita?
My voice here. Rejuvenation for all this more rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation. I like that.
Yes, and thank you.
Star.
Purpose and journey.
Jackie.
Peace and love.
I wonder where you got that from, huh?
I just took a picture of it somewhere and used it as my, so thank you.
Bridget.
She can't say anything. She's in a meeting, but she's got her song in the background.
Okay, gotcha, girl. Gotcha.
She's back in when the meeting's over.
And Lolly, and you can take it on with your reading or whatever you want to say, baby.
Sure. I guess endurance, it's giving us the strength to keep going. So
doing that this morning, huh?
What'd you say?
Definitely doing that this morning, huh?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yep, I'm doing that. Yeah, so for today, it's interesting that you were saying the Course in Miracles message or lesson was, being one with God. So it's interesting because I wanted to bring back up the conversation we had started Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days. And I was mentioning the story of my mom and me and my mom's conversation. And she was mentioning that she was going to let it go because she's, dealing with her financial situation. She was like, well, I don't really have any control over this, so I'm gonna just let it go and give it to God. And my response was that was good. However, I don't want her to feel like she's powerless in this moment. Because she has the ability to, make some changes in her life that will help. And I gave a metaphor of this idea of like keys. When you come in the house, you have keys because you have to get in the house. You wake up the next morning, you got to go wherever you need to go. You can't find your keys. So what do? Do you just sit there and be like, hey, well, can't find the keys, so I won't go anywhere? Or do you say, I'm going to find these keys and I'm going to get out? And so that's just like how we're put in positions where we have to find our keys, and they might not be in a place that we usually look, but we will find our way out. We will be able to leave if we've been given these keys. That's that. So in that same sense, we have this power, the same power over our lives and over our actions and everything that can really change the trajectory of what's going on in our environment and in our life. When we were on the call, Reverend Omani actually was like, well, you both are right, because there's a part that is really important about surrendering, and knowing how to let go. Because oftentimes we want to feel like we're so strong, we gotta, take the ram's horn and do everything. But sometimes you have to know the power of letting go and surrendering. So with that being said, I gave it some thought. And I was like, okay, I understand the perspective here. How can I put this in a way that, makes sense for me? So I was thinking about it, and the question that came to mind, and I will ask this again later for us all to respond to, but the question that came to mind was, when was a time surrendering looked like taking action? When was a time surrendering looked like taking action? And so where I'm going with this is sometimes giving it to God, letting it go, means I'm not going to do things in my way. I'm going to do the work that is necessary to make this plan happen. That's not my plan. It's the plan that's for not just me, it's for everybody, because I didn't create this plan in my head, but this is the plan that God wants to have me on, that Spirit wants me to be on. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And that reminds me of you talking about everything that I was doing and filming and all that for my situation. You know, so I could be like, I really just want to get paid for this, this, and this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to go to sleep late. I don't want to da da da. I have all these requirements for how I want to do it. And I end up going nowhere because it's not the way I want to do it. Instead of being like, you know what, I am grateful I'm in this position. Yes, I'm tired. Yes, I got a lot going on. Yes, I have to try to figure out all these other things that it just seems like they keep running back to back to back to back. There's so much I just can't seem to get a hold of. But this happens to be where I'm at in my life. So how can I take the situation and be like, look, I'm just going to continue to work within God's plan. I'm going to continue to make these steps, even though it doesn't look exactly how I want it right now. I'm going to keep pushing forward in that. So we don't want surrendering may look like sitting still. It may sometimes, depending on your situation. But we don't want to be in a situation every single time where surrendering looks like I give up completely. I'm not going to do anything anymore. Oh well. And there's a sentiment, or there's something good about, you know, being able to just chill out and not think about things and kind of avoid things and neglect it, leave it alone. Yes, I get when that can be necessary, but understanding for your situation, when does your surrendering to God's will look like action? Actually going out there and doing it. Those messages that you're getting, like, you need to write a book, or you need to speak, or you need to whatever, and you're like, nah, that's not kind of what I want to do, but you keep hearing it. You might need to take those steps. That might be the action that you need to get out of whatever cycle that you've been in, but you actually have to take the steps. So now that I've done my spiel, I would like to pose that question for you all and just really kind of bounce those ideas in that conversation. So when was a time in your life that surrendering to God's will looked like action?
Well, it actually depends on the person and the journey. Myself, I have been boxing with God since before birth. And boxing with God wears you out, definitely, because you get to the point where I just can't do it no more, because it takes a toll on your body, it takes a toll on your mind, and you're battling yourself as well as battling God, when all God is doing is standing there waiting for you to see, turn around and look at him. And then you'll see, okay, something is not working. All God needs is just a little hole for the light to come in, for the light bulb to go on. And it sounds like that was where your mother was. So surrendering is an action because it's a choice. It's a choice for you to stop beating up on yourself and surrender to someone who knows how to get you out of your split, confused mind and stressed up body, to take you to where you're trying to get, but don't know how. So surrendering in that sense is an action. What was the question? I
I mean, you were on a roll, but the question was, when was a time in your life where surrendering looked like taking action?
Oh, okay. So my action was I stopped boxing with God. And my mind is cleared. My body's going the same way. Um, and I feel wonderful. I've never felt this good as many days in a row, because I would get there and then I would go back. It's like I would get to the mountain and top, and then I would lean back on my crutch of confusion and stress and all of that, because apparently I wasn't ready to let it go. I felt like I would lose something, which in which, not knowing that all I would lose is stress and confusion and all of that. And so in my mind, my surrender was an action in order for me to get to the higher plateau that I was trying to get to. And just, you just get tired of, you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's the saying. So that was my experience of surrender being action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna share what some definitions that we can work from. What is the excuse me. What is the definition surrender mean? To give oneself up into the power of another. To yield, surrender. It says a noun. Definition of surrender: the action of yielding one's person or giving up the possession of something, especially into the power of another. So for me, let me see. So when I hear surrender, like it says, not my will, but thy will be done. So surrender is definitely an action. It is definitely not just sitting. And I mean, even sitting is an action. In other words, get out of my way, just surrender to my will, whether it's some man's will or God's will. And in this case, of course, we're talking about God's will. Thy will be done, not mine, but thy will be done. So there, instead of the, I want Elizabeth to happen this kind of way, I want it to happen. It's better for me if I do it in the afternoon and the evening. It's also better for me if we were to, if I was the only one doing it every day. When the will of God is, and I was just thinking about that today, this morning when I went in there and put this on, is that had I done it, well, one, I wouldn't even have done it if it had to be 5 days a week. I would not have done it. So, but when the will of God says share this with other people, and so like what happened, Pam had to sit in yesterday. Others had this, may have to sit in when others or when people leave. When they step out of that position, I'm not going to say leave, but they step out of that position. The will of God would be that someone else is ready to step right in, which is what happened. And so there was the ease, because God doesn't give you stuff that's hard for you to do, that you can't do. It's once you surrender to it, then you see how it's going to look in God's eyes. And in my eyes, I saw it at a hotel, and it never happened. Well, the internet wasn't even up and running that was, when I was 40, 20 something years ago, 30 years ago. So, the will of God is that this would be manifest like this. And but I still was working, I was still doing things towards it every year. And then it manifested in the way that it has manifested this year. It manifested in other ways, but this is more of what I saw. And I didn't know that it would look like this, because it wasn't even in existence for it to be like this. So when we surrender, the stress leaves. When I find my keys is when I find my keys. You may not need to find your keys right now because there's an accident about to happen on your way to where you're going if you did it right now. And so that surrendering always causes, even if people, if you surrender to your husband, there's some action that he wants you to do. Otherwise, how's he going to know that you surrendered to him? Does that make sense? Because if you surrender, if Pam surrenders to my will, what I'm asking her to do, then I'm going to see it happen. Even if I say, I just need you to just be still for a minute, just be still for a minute. I just need you to be still, because her action is, what she's doing is all crazy and stuff, or she's all emotional and stuff. Just surrender and let it go, so that God can move in the way that is needed for you. I really was, a little pissed off about, I was telling them, I said, why didn't you wanted to tell me, you see all the teeth that I had? And then you should have told me that I need to go somewhere where I could get knocked out because of all the work that needed to be done. And I was kind of getting a little pissed off about it and stuff. They just kept working. Little ticked off because they didn't call me yesterday to see how I was doing with all the work that, I'm sorry, that needed to happen. And like even right now, I just swallowed some blood that's coming out of this nostril. And then I said, I am one with God, and to get pissed off and all, mad at them is not going to help. So I just need to do what I need to do, and just take care of that. So I need to just surrender to the process that's happening right now and just take care of that with no animosity, no piss off. Just tell them, this is your people skills is not good. Not in a get mad at them, but somewhere you guys need to correct this when you have clients like this happens, and just tell them what my experience is, and just let God work with them, but not me, because I can't correct nothing with them. They have to see that, and they have to see that with love. They can't see that. They won't accept that if I go in, cussing them out and stuff like that. Plus, they still got to do the bottom half of my teachers. Like, you take the food back, you don't know if they spit in your food, you don't know what they're going to do. So I need for peace to be happening. I need to surrender that to God, that there's lessons for all of us in this. And so surrendering is always action of being still, so that the movement of God for all, because it's never just about you. It's never, ever just about you. And so when we surrender, sometimes I have to surrender to what my husband wants. The surrender is where the peace is for me. When I just surrender that, okay, we'll do what you want to do. and not struggle, not fight, because then you still haven't surrendered. You haven't surrendered if that, I'm gonna do it, but I don't really want to do it, that kind of thing. So yes, I believe that surrendering is always action, not when is there a time, but it's always action, because if you're surrendering, you obviously was doing something that the thought or the request of surrendering was needed.
Mm-hmm.
So you were doing something. Now we need to do something different. So that's where I am with that surrender. When they say about surrendering to your man and all that stuff, not that kind of surrender. And that's not, you really don't believe, or you don't want to. But the surrender is when you have that peace that passes all understanding. Why is she doing that? But her life is changing. You looking at it like, shoot, I wouldn't give that nigga nothing, blah, 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 blah. But when you surrender to the will of God or to the word of God, and I don't think, I'm not in that the Bible is the word, the only word and stuff. I believe that God's word is always coming forth, Anyway, so there I am in my little rant
Yes.
about surrender. So Jackie, you want to chime in? I'm going to go blow my nose.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for that share, Queen Aduni. And especially you said always coming forth, because I think surrender is a matter of listening for guidance.
Yeah.
Right. And in the Course in Miracles, lesson 135, so it says, a healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plan that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it has been taught what should be done and then proceeds to do it. So, thank you.
Can you read that one more time? I'm sorry.
Yes. One of my favorite parts. It's lesson 135. A healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plan that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it has been taught what should be done and then proceeds to do it. So it's really listening to our own guidance, because my guidance is going to be different from your guidance, Queen Aduni's guidance, and it's trusting that, listening to spirit.
I say.
Grand Rising, Mama Hat.
Star, are we gonna say something?
I was going to say it's Juanita's turn. You ready, Juanita?
I am. Okay. Surrender. I'm not sure that I could actually answer your question the way you posed it, Lolly, because I can't even find an instance where my surrender meant taking action, although there probably are those instances. It's just my mind doesn't get wrapped around it. But what's coming into perspective for me is this example. Well, one, let me say the importance of each individual knowing for themselves what surrender means, because when you're in the face of your enemy that you have no business surrendering to, and you have a mindset of surrender, if you don't have that mindset to know what surrender means for you, you can let your enemy convince you that surrender means surrender to them. So the example I want to share is in the face of our enemy or that adversity or that challenge, being able to maybe even walk away from it in obedience and in surrender to God. So that may be the action that we find ourselves taking in the act of surrendering. And in anybody else's perception, they may want to say, well, she didn't surrender. Nope, I did not. It's like, okay, resist the devil and he shall flee. You know, I'm not surrendering to you, to that anything that is contrary to the will of God. I am surrendering to God. And that means that I totally block you. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think when we talk about surrender, of course, you don't surrender to your enemy, except, I mean, it's like when you think about the, it's funny when you think about, what's that story in the Bible where the Trojan, remember the Trojan horse?
Yeah,
And they surrendered. Was that the Trojan, or they just snuck in there? What is it?
they snuck in there inside the horse.
Right. Because sometimes that surrendering, it's it's like the will, if it's the will of God. In other words, okay, if somebody's beating you up and stuff like that, and you know that is not the will of God, whatever they're saying they're making you do and such, then that's is one, you got to know whether that's the will of God. It might be the will as far as like surrender, I surrender so that I can come in to the camp and to do whatever. Matter of fact, it was what was the woman in the Bible that Esther, when Esther went in there, so that she could surrender, so she could get in a position to help her people. It's about knowing, why are you surrendering? And if you're fighting that, you can't get the depth of it. You can't get the wisdom of it. But when you say, okay, I'm going to surrender and I'm going to listen, I'm not going to fight against you. So it don't have to be, even the listening is an action. That's action. I'm going to listen to the wisdom and even if you don't get all of the wisdom, just the trust, I'm gonna surrender to the wisdom and trust. And I will trust. And you know when it's you, and when you know it's that it's it. You remember I told you all, I don't know if you was on then, that I had gone to a job. I was going to get to audition, or not audition, to a job at GM. And before I went in there, I hit the joint, and it was a powerful weed. And so I said, let me just hit this joint. And when I went in there, I had to take a typing test. And I knew I could type good, but I knew when I made 2 mistakes. At that moment, I surrendered. I said, Holy Spirit, type for me. And I knew as I went after the test, and she's going over it and stuff, and she looks and she says, okay, you had 3 mistakes. I said, no, I did not. And she said, yeah, she's looking, and I said, I'm telling you, no, I did not, because I knew when I surrendered. And I still took, but I knew when it was not Sheila. I knew when I had given my will over to, I gave my hands, because I said, I need you to type for me. And I flew through the rest of that test. I flew through it. So that's a surrender. I knew when I asked that was going to be done, even to the point of arguing her. It wasn't like argue, but making my stand. No, I did not. I don't care what you see. Read it again. I did not make a mistake, because I knew when I was out of the way. I knew that. So it's like, yeah, God would never have us surrender to an enemy without a plan, not without a plan. And then you're trusting when you know that you really are surrendering to God's will, not man's will. but God's will in your life, there's always action. There's always action, even if it sits your butt down. When somebody that did something and cussed you out and God, you have to surrender your mouth to not go off or not slap the mess out of them and stuff. That's part of surrender. And when that happens, you always see something good come out of it. In the end, something wonderful that you can give a testimony about. But as long as you fight again, because God always has, no matter what's going on, there is the perfect will of God in every instance of our life. Every moment, there is the perfect will of God for each and every one of us as it relates to all mankind, as it relates to the universe, and so okay, that's all I got to say. Star,
Um,
did someone write what's happening for Mama Het? Okay.
yeah, and then she went off. I think she'll be back. Um, I remember in October 2013, I was out by the water, and that's when I found the lump. And about a week before that, the details of what happened when I was raped, when I was 7, I remembered them. And so when I found that lump, I was not in a position at all to even deal with what needed to happen. So 3 days after I found the lump, I came back to the same spot and I told God, I can't deal with this. I'm not ready. I cannot handle this right now. So I didn't do anything about it. And so 7 months later, and I'm watching this tumor grow. 7 months later was when I was able to surrender and deal with the situation. I knew that because of how big it had gotten, that I would probably lose the breast. However, it was better than losing my mind because I did need that. I did need the mind. And so I went through it with the breeze. I mean, I was very afraid of chemo. However, it was the chemo that helped bring me out of depression. And God had showed me, or He had brought back to my memory the details of the rape because He knew what I was getting ready to go through. And so, knowing the details of the rape, knowing about depression, I could put it all in one bubble and see it as a habit that needed to be broken. That's what surrender does for you. It helps you see things. The things in your life do not change. The way you see it changes. And when you surrender, your viewpoint of things changes and you get your power back. And that's what happened in that surrender. I got my power back and I was able to see that I am not under all of that stuff I was going through, all them chains I was holding on to and wouldn't let go. I'm not under you anymore. I got the power now. My glass is half full and not half empty. So that's what surrender will do for you, that particular action. You say, you know what? I'm letting go of everything because I can't continue to hold on to it anymore. These chains is too tight. Something's got to give. So surrender.
Yes. Mama, I need to get, you're right next. I just gotta say, this is going exactly where I was hoping. Yes.
Well, thank you for surrendering to what God told you to do.
Yes. No, just because my point is to understand that as you surrender, it's not saying, yes, I'm powerless. It's being empowered
Mm-hmm.
in your surrender. That's the point I'm trying to get to. And I love the fact that you just mentioned that because I was like, yes. Okay. All right. Mama Juanita, go ahead.
I want to thank you for bringing us into this exercise, because this is what has been called upon of us for this week, from Sunday for me all through the rest of the week. And I think it's really good that you're helping us get a perspective on what surrendering looks like, and that what's coming out of this is helping me understand the process of surrender. Because it's like, how do you know when to surrender? And Star, what you just shared really put it in perspective for me. It's like it becomes a balance of what is really best for you. And I want to share this example from the Bible. Can you imagine what it was like for Joseph with his brothers and that coat, and then going into captivity? You know, what good would it have done for him to fight any of them? What good would it have done? And then the ultimate good that came out for the deliverance of the people of Israel through his position that he has surrendered to. You know, this is really enlightening. And thank you so much for bringing us through this exercise. This is empowering. Thank you. Told you he was taking us places Beyonce never went.
Mm-hmm. Before Mama hit shares, Lolly, we have some new people coming on, not new, but if you can just state it, what it is we're speaking about.
Yes, yes, definitely. Grand Rising, ladies.
Grand Rising.
So we are having a very, very wonderful discussion about surrender. And I explained, I think some of you may have been on the call earlier this week when I briefly mentioned the story with my mom and all of that. And Reverend Omani had mentioned surrender was important as well. And so what we were speaking on is surrendering, some looking like taking action. And so the question that I posed was, when was a time that surrendering to God looked like taking action? And so some of us have been talking about the action of being still. Some of us have been talking about the action of following God's plan and actually carrying out what is called of us. So for you, when was a time that surrendering looked like taking action is the question.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Put your seat down. Oh,
Right
she's
on
ready.
time here. Sheena was going to Waldorf, and I was still of the mindset of lack of money and thought that I had to have big payments because they had worked with me all along. And she was in, she wouldn't have graduated with her class if I couldn't come up with a certain amount of money on her tuition. So at that time, her and my girlfriend's daughter were going to Waldorf, and I was taking her mother to work and then taking them to school. And so I was dropping her mother off, and she said, well, what are you going to do? And during that time at Waldorf, it was my spiritual journey was beginning. I was expanding. So I took a deep breath and said, I haven't come this far for my daughter not to walk across that stage with her classmates. That's gonna happen. Didn't know how. And so Spirit led me to share my story with a few people. And I shared it with the lady I worked for and with out in Huntington Woods. And I shared it with one of Sheena's classmates' mother. Because I don't know why we were on the phone, because it wasn't like we were close like that. We didn't like talk on the phone or have long conversations when we saw each other in school. It was nothing like that. But I shared my story with her. I said, I'm looking for help, not loans, because asking for a loan is different. And some people don't know that there's a difference between asking for a loan and asking for help. So I shared that. Next thing I knew, an anonymous donator, $1,000 on my daughter's tuition. She would be able to walk across that stage. And I took the next few months after she graduated, paying off the other 500. But that was a time when I made a decision, a conscious decision in my mind, that I was just going to surrender it to God and let Spirit guide me to whatever, to do whatever.
I love
and sit back.
it.
I said, oh, and when that happened, I said, oh, I like this. I need to do more of this, letting Spirit guide me. It works out much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my go-to story, because it's like, that's when I realized, all you have to do is ask and then do the best you can, and then let Spirit take care of the rest.
I love that story. I love that, because sometimes it's just, like for me, asking for what I need. I can tell when, where I'm all in the way, my thoughts are in the way. She ain't gonna help me. They ain't gonna help me. I'm in it by myself and all that kind of stuff. I was going through my list of people that for the event, and I'm writing down all my people, going through my phone thing, and writing everybody in their telephone numbers and such. And I called this one sister who had been on my mind, but I hadn't located her phone number. And when I talked to her, one of the first things she said was, well, what you want me to do? I can be a sponsor. Ooh. She said it, offering that. And that's one of the challenge. That's where I have not surrendered. Let me just say like that, okay? I have not totally surrendered to that, and just yeah, I could say a lot around that, but me talking to her, just talking to her, and actually it was something else that I wanted to share with her about the other venture that I have, but she just came out on her own. Well, I'm gonna give you this, and then I'll help you sell some tickets. And I'm like, whoa, and then she met me the next day. She said, I don't have the time. And I told her I had some issues with my mouth I had to take care of, so it wouldn't be until the next week if otherwise, and then that's too late. But anyway, then she brought it up. Okay, well, let's meet tomorrow, and so on and so forth, but it was, just surrendering to get out of my own way. And what I had shared with you all before about that our journey is already, there. If God has given us the ideas and stuff, He has also created the way for it to happen. We just get our butts out of the way so that and surrender to what God, and I'm sure everybody knows the voice of God, and it sounds like, for me, it sounds like Sheila. It's not no big, it's not that. And you know it in the depth of your heart that's God, what you just heard. Then we get in the way. And then that's when that surrendering process has to start. It could be do something, or it could be sit your butt down and let me take care of it, like what you said, Mama Evelyn. When you You don't even know these people like that. You don't hang out with them. But there was the answer right there. And I don't even know if you know where that money came from that took care of it, or who said what to make it happen for you. It's just you're surrendering that it will be taken care of. Sweet surrender. I have a movie called that. So whenever you hear it, it is about sweet surrender. How you sweetly surrender. You know, y'all know how to sweetly surrender.
I've heard her talk about that movie, and there's definitely a lot of action in that.
Mhm.
Mama, have you ready? Were you complete, Queen?
Yes, honey.
Ready, Mama Head?
We got
And
plenty
I
of time
wanted
for
to
you to
say I
jump
would have
back
got
in.
on this call earlier, but I was having a nice conversation with the Lyft driver, the Uber driver. His
Mhm.
name is Paul. He does a little bitty picture, but he is fine.
You was on an Uber date.
That eye candy.
And he was talking about a friend of his who was an artist, and he was attempting to persuade her to let her art out there.
Mhm.
And he showed me a picture that she has on her wall. Oh my God. My favorite colors, orange and yellow. And it's beautiful. I said, I gave him a card. I came in here and got a card for the Elizabeths. And I
I
told
was
him,
gonna say
said,
she needs to be Elizabeth.
huh?
I was gonna say she need to be Elizabeth.
I gave him the
Yeah.
number. I said, tell her she can come on here and just listen if she wants to. I said, because that talent, I said, we're all Elizabeths, and it's not time to dim your light anymore. You know, she's working for a company, you know, I said, yeah, somebody along the way dimmed her artistic light and told her she couldn't make it doing that.
So she's
But we're
surrendering to
here.
her job, and she's surrendering to her job and need to surrender to herself.
Yes.
Oh, can we
There
take
we
some
go.
lessons? Can we take lessons today from experiences? Can we do that? Can we do that?
Do
Can
that
we
what?
do that?
Say that again.
Can we take some lessons from experiences? Take the
Yes.
lessons come from our experience. Because as you were talking about her, I was like, oh, she need to come up in here. Because she could start here and share her thing and then get comfortable, because we're it. I'm gonna say it, we're it. You need to be pushed, we here to push, okay? If you need to be pushed. Now, if you need to be pulled, that's another thing. I have to learn how to, now see, that's one of my things that I had to surrender to. Stop pushing folks. I don't like nobody to push me, but I need to be pushed. The same thing. So what I was thinking about, I've been all over the place. I've been all over the place with my thoughts about this surrender. Because when Lolly said about the God part, I was like, okay, hold on. Where am I going with this? There's so many places, but I want to talk about a place where I haven't thought about it before. So in this thought, I think when it's time to surrender, we'll put worry there to take up that time. We'll put fear there to take up so we don't have to surrender. But you will. It will be the only thing that you can do, because there's nothing else left for you to do but to be. Mm-hmm. So we keep talking about, we think about this, oh, I'm going to not do this because blah, 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 blah. No, you don't want to be great because you don't want to be great. That's what it comes down to. You don't want to be great because you don't want to be great. Nobody told you that you're not great. People might have told you. If anybody said that, they weren't talking to you. Remember, we got to start carrying that mirror, so when somebody says something to us, mirror. So messages that you hear might not be from you, because your messages to yourself are louder, I guarantee. Your God voice is louder than anybody coming up to you telling you ugly, or what you got on, take that off.
Ashe.
Okay.
All right, we're going into deep water, sisters. We're going into deep water. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because there are things that you have that you know about yourself. Know is based on what you were saying, Mama had. Like you said, okay, I need to put this right. There's certain things you could say to me that is, I know that that is not me. It don't matter what you say. It don't matter how powerful you are. It don't matter if you're the pastor. It doesn't matter if you're the president. Certain things does not enter my psyche. Oh, there's. And then where is the word vacillate, where you go back and forth, and then they feed that thing that is not empowering you. You like, well, maybe why are they seeing that on me and stuff, instead of, like you said, here's the mirror, look at the mirror. Or, I'm telling you, some things you could say about me and it will just, and I may correct you, or I may not. It just, because it may not be important for you to even know. If that's how you think, then okay, whatever. You're not in my tribe. You don't. My cousin told me one time that I think too big. I need to bring my thoughts down. I do not ask him his opinion of stuff anymore. It wasn't even that I asked him then, but when he said that, and then when I look at his life, there it is. He keeps his life small. He keeps his life small, and then we'll tell you that he's a writer. I adore his writing. I love he's a bass player. I love his music, but he has been whatever, attacked verbally and stuff, but he is awesome. He does not see that of himself because he took in what other people were saying about him. So now he thinks that that's what he should say to everybody else. I'm the wrong person. I I love him. I love him to pieces. But there's a distance that I keep because of what I believe, and especially who I know I am. Especially that, So yeah. I'm gonna play that part, what you said, Mama Head. I'm gonna have to write that down. Put that on my wall.
That's my maiden name is Wall. That's my maiden name.
Piggybacking on what Queen and Mama Hit said, the Course of Miracles teaches that what you say to your brother and how you treat your brother or sister, you're doing to yourself. It says here, fear is a symptom of your own deep sense of loss. So that's why we gotta be careful how we treat each other, because we're talking to ourselves. And the cousin that Queen Aduni was talking about, he sometimes, he works at the shop, and he'd be talking a lot of stuff, and sometimes they would get upset, and I'd say, why y'all getting upset? I said, that's just who he is. That's just how he thinks. When a person thinks a certain kind of way that is not pleasing to you, there's no need in talking to them, because that's how they think. You stress yourself out, you get yourself angry because you're trying to tell them something, and it's not even worth the trouble. I had this woman cuss me out, and I just sat there and I listened to her, and she was angry at me about something that she did. However, for me to come back at her in an angry way, I would be wasting my time and energy. And I don't do that. I just let her say what she had to say. And then I got up and I left. Because I don't believe in stressing myself out trying to convince somebody of something where they think up here, like Queen Aduni was saying, he thinks small. You know, this thing he says, well, if it seems like it's too good to be true, then it is. No, no, it's not. If when we surrender to God and he blows our mind by blessing us because we've surrendered, well, that's too good to be true. No, in your mind it is, but not me. So I just wanted to I really liked that what Mama had said about the mirror.
Thank you. Now you all thank you so much for sharing that, because the other ting-a-ling is, whew, the other part about this is that we don't have time to waste. And we don't have time to waste. And we don't have time to waste. You could waste it on attempting to teach someone a lesson that was really your lesson, because it's not going to resonate with them because that's not where they're at. Or, you take the little bits and pieces and go and put in your little lesson box.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wouldn't be on your path if you didn't need it or have it already. So it'll remind you, like the people will come up and say something like, wow, that was really jacked up what they said. But yeah, you said that. Mama had, you said that. You've done that. Oh, wait a minute. These things all look familiar. Oh boy. These are my experiences just coming back. How you gonna, another test? Let's do another test run. You gonna pass or you gonna fail? You're going to pull that lesson up out of that back. That lesson, you're going to pull it back because you got it back there. You got it right there. Pull out that lesson. You know what? Somebody say something to me and I'm just going to walk on by, or I'm going to do a squat and start dancing. Yeah. and work through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our choice. And, these are the things that we need to be teaching our babies. You got to wait till you get 70, 80, 50 years old to be learning these lessons. No, you've learned it a long time ago. You didn't surrender to it when it happened the first time. Not the 15th time. Oh God, please help me get through. No, get your shit together. We want it to be some big voice. You heard that voice 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, you said it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, how much?
Yes.
Go ahead, Lolly. Go ahead.
It's so important, and I just love it. We are all aligned, y'all, because y'all be saying stuff, and I'm like, that was right there. But yes, just surrendering to those lessons, being able to take those and learn them, because that's how I mentioned earlier how we get into this stagnance. We get into this vicious cycle. It just keeps happening. Everything keeps happening. Everything keeps going wrong. Everything, what was me, all these things keep happening over and over and over again. And it's like, if you would just sit back and surrender to what you need to know, what spirit is trying to tell you, what spirit is trying to feed you. You're not trying to eat it. You're like, no, I gotta do it my way. I don't want to listen. And that really, I want to ask this later after Mama Juanita speaks, but I want us to think about how after we surrender, how we listen, in what ways do we get those messages to guide us to the next steps. But Mama Juanita, go ahead.
I don't know where this fits, but this is what comes to mind, something I saw this morning. The importance of not wrestling in the mud with the pig, because you're both gonna get dirty, but the pig likes it.
Oh.
Oh,
It's Mama Juanita, it fits.
oh,
I know.
One more time.
It just
One more
it
time.
touched me.
oh,
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Okay, so there's no point in us wrestling with the pig because we both gonna get dirty. There's no point wrestling in the mud with the pig because we both gonna get muddy, but the pig likes it.
I gotta write that down. That's
I,
a
I, I,
t-shirt, Sheila. That's a t-shirt.
when I
Yep.
find where it was on Facebook or something in my memories or something, I'll put it the way it really was said because I didn't quite say it right. But
All right, we
yeah,
got
That was good. That was
that-
good.
that-
yeah,
That
that
was
was
good.
good.
twice.
I've heard that before, yep, but oh my God,
Thank you for
good.
surrendering and saying it now.
That was a good biscuit. That was a
Yeah.
good biscuit with butter and syrup on it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all
Oh.
just made me put this whole call on hold because when she said that, I almost started shouting in here and I'm on a work meeting. So I'm sorry, but I had to come on in here on that one because my father used to say that don't put on a white suit and go roll in the mud with the pigs because you're going to get dirty right with them. So, okay, going back to my call now. I'm sorry, they're going to realize I went missing.
thank you for sharing that, Bridget.
Ooh, that one got the ancestors coming up out, okay?
And that perspective that Bridget just gave us, because we are all in the process of putting on that white suit, right? We are walking stronger into our spirituality, into our kingdom work. And the test for us now, the test of surrendering, it means that these things are going to come up to test us. And are we really ready to keep our white suit clean?
You know what? I might take mine off so it won't get dirty, okay?
Oh, Lord.
I got soap and water and I got a shower, you know?
But the
happens
time.
when you do. And so how do you recover when you do roll in the mud with the pig and the pig likes it? How do you recover from that? There's that lesson I'm talking about. How do you recover from that?
Okay.
I have an answer. It has something to do with something that At Peace said. She said, you find the deliciousness in everything.
Come on,
It's in there. It's in there. You may have to look deep. It's in there, but you find it.
And that's the word. All things work together for good. That's the word.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I wanna throw this in there because we think that many are of the mind that we are being tested when trials and tribulations come. I want to throw in there is that we get to practice when it comes. To practice what we know. Because if nothing ever showed up, then you wouldn't know the power that you are, the power that you have, the assistance that you have, the oneness with God that you have, the knowledge that you have. There's not always just a test. God is testing me. No, you have an opportunity to practice what you know.
Use them lessons.
Doesn't that softer? That is much softer than God is testing you. God already knows who we are. We are one with him. Let's let her practice this. She needs to practice how to ask somebody because I've already put it out there. She just needs to ask.
Right.
You know.
That's a good perspective.
We have to keep going through something over and over again. Maybe it's that we mastered it. You know, or is it because we have a need inside? Like, I got to see if I really learned my lesson. Because we're the common denominator in that stuff. I used to ask children when they used to come to school, you know, when they come to school late, like in February, you know, they've been kicked out. Because they mama don't like the principal or whatever the story they tell. I tell them, I said, when you come here, I say, you got a clean slate. You can start over, because none of us don't know nothing about you. I said, when you get in trouble with a teacher, ask them, can you start over? I bet you they won't deny you that.
Ooh. Ooh. Yes. Mm.
I tell them, don't come to me, apologize, and change the behavior. I don't give a dang about you telling me I'm sorry. No, no, no. Just do something do something.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell RJ that.
But here's something I was wrestling with today. Yep. I was showering today and I said, wow. Okay, so my thing about anger came a couple weeks ago. So the anger comes about the past. Okay, so now we in the past. So how do we wiggle out of this? If we would take our anger and create with it, okay? So I'm crocheting and I'm thinking about stuff. Crocheting is a very lonely moment. Even if people are in the room with you, you're still in your own head. Knitting, taking a shower, being in the airplane, all these moments, you're by yourself. Even on a bike, riding the bike too. You're in your own head. So how about create with that anger or learn to do something different? You when you get mad about something, you always blah, 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 blah. You might hit your hand on the table. Now, eventually that's going to start damaging the bone and hurting the muscle. And and near the, when it get older, it's going to be like, remember when you kept knocking me on? Okay. So, or, women, we saying that, when having bunions on your feet is a hereditary. It's not hereditary. Y'all making the same stupid decision. Anyway, let's go. So I'm crocheting with it. So crochet with that anger. Take that anger and do something with it. If you got time, if you got time in your life to be mad, then you got time to make it into something, make it do something. So Star, on what you were saying, one day I went and got some benches that somebody had threw away. I was like, oh, these can be nice in the backyard. I went and got the benches and somebody had left a little plastic pile of shit. I'm going to be gross. I'm going to say what I need to say because it need to happen like this. So I brought it home and I made an altar with it. I made the shit altar. I said, when you come in here, I said, you know what? This is a pile of shit. And I just want you to hold it. Just hold it for a minute. And one of my girlfriends said, girl, I don't want your shit. I got my own shit. I'm not holding your shit. I was like, okay. And then one lady said, okay, well, how long am I supposed to hold it, Het? She kept holding it. I said, how long? She said, how long am I supposed to hold it? I said, I don't know. It's your shit. Here was my little tale. We don't like to deal with shit, but we put shit inside of ourselves. And what do you do with that shit? If you don't look at your shit and check your shit, you won't know what kind of shit you're dealing with coming out of your body. You got to look at that shit. Now you'll hold that shit for a very long time. It'll make you sick. That shit'll make you sick and you'll keep holding on to it. How long you gonna hold on to that shit? When you gonna let it go? So I'd have people come to the table and write shit down that they wanted to let go of, a shit they sick of dealing with, put it in a piece of paper, we're gonna burn it. Or you can fertilize. Because some shit you can fertilize.
That's straight, girl.
So that's my shit altar. Now it's since gone, and I'm mad that I let that shit go. Ooh. My shit story.
This
but I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying about the things that we consume. We eat shit. We hold on to it. It's stuck in our guts. We gotta it's gotta be dealt with. And this all part of that story came about because one day, me and my teacher friends, we were at Brewer Elementary. That was the best relationship I've ever had with coworkers ever in my whole life. All the Black teachers used to sit and eat lunch together. And one day we were talking about our bowels and everything and what colors they are. One lady was like, oh my God, why are you guys talking about that? I was like, that shit's important. And when you look, it lets you know if the way it floats, the way it looks, the way it's shaped, how weighty it is. Those things tell you things about your body and what you're going through. It'll let you know. If you don't look back, what if you have blood in your stool? You need to think about how it smells. If it's offensive, you probably got some raw meat still left up in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But how can you not deal with your own
shit?
Yeah. Because I get up and look at mine. You gotta get up and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time we went to the mountains. I ate a trail mix fruit with cranberries. That was the most beautiful shit I'd ever let go.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Smelled good. I was like, wow, this wow, you know. But anyway.
Yeah, you saying that, Mama Head, reminds me of this was a sister that was at when I was at Landmark, and she was, you know, dealing with healing and stuff, and she would tell me, she said, every day I want when you have your bowel movements, I want you to look at it. I want you to pick it up, and then write down, what is it, solid? Is it runny? Does it, what color is it? And she would tell you what was going on in your body. I was like, I ain't never heard of no shit like this, right? But she was healing athletes. She was healing, you know, people would pay her lots of money to look at their shit. Look at their shit. I was amazed. But it was because it's in there, it's just coming out. Now, how is it coming out? Is it hard? Is it stuffy? Is it just floating? Is it running? What color is it? All of that. I was amazed. So what you're saying, totally, that is it. And so it is with not only your physical shit, you know, like the coming out your body, but the shit in your life. I was laying in the bed this morning and I was thinking about the teeth. And I thought about, you did not take care of your teeth.
I'm guilty.
Bottom line, because you don't like to go to the dentist because blah, blah, blah. Well, those who did what they were supposed to do, their teeth and their mouth is healthier. And so I had to compare that also with my life right now. Now I have only now, right now. What are you going to do? So lesson learned, not a test, lesson learned. Now, are you going to change that practice so that everything else can flow? Are you going to give up something else that you don't have to if you surrendered, Lolly, to what will make your body as healthy as it can be? What are you going to do? You get to choose. You get to choose. Sheila gets to choose that person, you know. Let's say the spirit, what is it? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And then we justify, well, I just don't like it. Okay, wait for 10 more years. Let's see what happens. And what you decided you wanted to do instead of surrendering to best, what is best for your body, what is best for this and that. Yeah.
I want to also tie a couple things in. I love this. I love this conversation. We was talking about letting shit go and looking at it, right? So in our lives, there's some things we gotta release it. We gotta release it. And then once we realize that, once we finally release it, we can take a look at it and be like, okay, this is what I needed to figure out. This is what I needed to know. But if we don't, like Mama had said, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna hold on to it. And you know, I also wanted to tie in the concept of, you know, rolling in with the pigs in the dirt, wearing white. You know, in the response to a question Mama had posed earlier, you know, what happens after, you know, you done roll with the pigs a little bit, you know? You can get up though. You can take a shower. You can put that white back on. Because you know white is a color of surrender. You wave the white flag, you surrender. You put that white back on and you keep moving in unity with spirit and unity with God. You keep moving. If you fall back in the mud a little bit, it's okay. Take a shower. Go wash your white off. Get some new white if you need to. Put it back on. and keep it moving. Keep it pushing.
I mean, that's what we've been doing. I mean, we all sit here, we've been doing something because we all here right now. We all here right now. Even the people that we don't see, we hear right now. Yeah,
There
but it's
is,
us. It's always us in our own way.
Our own way.
yes,
Yep.
You
yes,
fly over the mountain, but who made the mountain in the first place? You did, because you put all your shit in that.
yes, yes. And you can never get rid of your own shit because you blaming everybody else for your shit.
So I don't
It comes
offend
out of
people.
you.
Yeah. But right, but you ate that shit. You heard that shit. You said that shit. You
Yeah.
did that shit.
You saw that shit.
How are you gonna hold?
Yeah.
Fertilize that shit. Put that shit in the earth and make it grow. So it needs some food.
Yeah.
There
I
is
like
this-
when you say fertilize. Say more about fertilizing the shit, because they'll take when they putting doing the lawn and stuff, and they'll take shit.
Manure. Yep.
Hold on. Yeah. So say a little bit more about that, Mama Hit.
Well, when I mentioned the fertilizing, that's what that process is, when you sit down, like Lolly shared, to look at that. You look at it and find out where the source is. And that's the lessons, because we're going through this life and there's a lot of things happening, and we need to put them in a place where we remember, because it's going to come up again, because we spiraling. It's going to come up again, and you can go, wait a minute. Now, I did this when this happened, and it didn't go well. So the next time it come up, you could do it. Then you have a different chance, a different opportunity every time to do it a different way to see if you get some different results. Finally saying, oh, I'm mad at my dad. I wanted to write down why I was mad at my dad, but I was like, that's all from the past. That's all old shit. Did you learn anything? Did you see you in there? Because all of the people that we deal with, I don't care if you're just walking past somebody, they're a little piece of you. We talk about that ain't outside of us. You got the one over here and the one over here. You got your mama. I got my mama sitting there and there. And then the little chaos and order. We're gonna call it chaos and order. We all possess that. We keep coming up, the devil made me do it. No, you picked your hand up and you did it. Stop. I used to tell the kids, stop telling lies on the devil. He didn't do nothing. He might have gave you, he might have put it, and then that's your ego, little thing in your mind. Just like when the woman told me that what I had on was ugly and I need to take it off, and I walked past and I didn't need. But what I did do is think about all the things I was like, I could have tipped her over in that wheelchair. I could have took her battery out. I could have said something, or said boo, or did something like that to her. And I felt better after I thought about it after instead of before, though. Because, they say if you think a thing, then you did it, so now I'm in trouble. But I'm not in trouble if I think about what I could do afterwards. Bridget, what you got to say? I see you. Come on here. Come
on. I'm just sitting over here, like I said. I was like, all right, meeting done, gotta go, goodbye. Because when I came back on, I was laughing, because this whole conversation about surrender, and I'm gonna roll back a little bit. One of the things that I've learned is when it comes time and you feel that in your spirit, because you'll feel it sometimes. After you've prayed about it, you'll feel it. And if I'm not sure, I'll ask in my prayer. I ask for confirmation. Send me multiple confirmations that this is from you. And Father, sometimes I kind of miss some things that you see. So can you make this so plainly clear that a 5-year-old will get it? Can you make this so plainly clear that this is you? And don't send me one, send me multiple, so I don't miss it. And a lot of times people think, oh, it's going to show up this way or that way. I've had it show up driving down the street in a song, and I'll be like, oh, wait. And it's not a song that I may have. It may be any kind of music. It can be in classical, because I listen to all kind of music. It can be in classical music. It can be in a hip hop song that I just passed by on the radio as I was turning stations. It can be somebody who walks past you in a grocery store that you don't know, who just says a word and you're like, hold on. And as you're walking out, you'll feel it. That's my word I sent you. So that surrender can come in so many ways, but when it comes, you have to be obedient to that. And you have to walk in it and go with it. And the one thing that you have that we all have to do, and sometimes as women, we have the hardest part of doing, especially if we've been through things in life, is trust. There's something that I've always told my baby sister that she's had to learn. Don't surrender it and then go take it back. Because when you take it back, you gonna mess it up. If you gave it and you said, I surrender it to you, I give it to you, I'm trusting you, don't put a time limit on it and don't go take it back, because now you're doing it in your own strength. And it is a surefire guarantee. You're going to ruin it. So just surrender it, trust, and leave it. But also be honest in that prayer. I have a hard time with trust. You know me better than I know me. You knew me before you planted me in my mother's womb. I have a hard time with trust. So if I'm giving this to you and I'm trusting, if I have to come back to you 20 times a day and go, okay, I'm having a hard time with trusting. I gave it to you, but I'm having a hard time. Give me your peace so that I can walk through this and continue to let you handle it and not me handle it. Because if I know if I handle it, I'm going to take this over a cliff in a really bad way. So I'm going to trust you and leave you with it. So that's all I had to say. Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate what you said. I'm looking in the mirror with it. I'm in the mirror with it. But you know what? With that trust thing, we like to give our trust away to other people. We have to start trusting ourselves, because that's where I was lost.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped trusting me. And that's when my ship went crazy. Okay.
Yes. Because, that goes hand in hand with forgiveness. We forgive others, but so many times we forgive yourself too. Because you deserve that forgiveness just as much.
What?
So while we out here saying, I forgive others, stop and forgive you. Because it's just like if you don't love yourself first, you can't love other people. You can't forgive other people if you haven't stopped to forgive yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So while you giving it, give it to yourself first. Mm-hmm. That's why when you're on a plane,
put your mask on first.
They say, put your mask on first. You can't save nobody else if you haven't put your mask on. So put your mask on first before you put that mask on somebody else. So forgive you first. Love on you first. Then forgive and do all that with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somehow I came out of this meeting and got on the soapbox, so I'm going to come off my soapbox.
Preacher, come on, preacher, it's all right. Come on, preacher.
Star?
Well, first I want to say there's a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? Now, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And when you talk about letting go of your shit and surrendering, one thing that the guy says is it's like you use it as a crutch. There's this song called Good Morning Heartache. And you're expecting it. You're holding on to it. You're making it your friend, And you know, it's like watching the same despicable movie that you despise every day, all day, because you won't let the shit go. And when I remember when I was holding on to depression, when I finally let it go, I felt like I was losing my mind. And when I watched the movie What the Bleep, it tells me, it tells you what's going on when you're in your mind. It's when, like when you, if you get angry every day, the neurons or whatever they come together and they form that habit. But one day you don't get angry, and those things, it starts to break up. And so the more you don't do that habit, the more it breaks up in your mind. And yes, you feel like you're losing it. You are. You're losing that shit mind, and you're surrendering to the God mind, your higher self. And when you mention forgiveness, Bridget, I want to read something from Course in Miracles. It's called Forgiveness Offers Everything You Want. What could you want forgiveness cannot give? Do you want peace? Do you want happiness, a quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, and a sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world? Do you want care and safety and the warmth of sure protection always? Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that never can be hurt, a deep, abiding comfort, and a rest so perfect it can never be upset? All this forgiveness offers you and more. It sparkles on your eyes as you awake and gives you joy with which to meet the day. It soothes your forehead while you sleep and rests upon your eyelids so you see no dreams of fear and evil, malice, or attack. And when you wake again, it offers you another day of happiness and peace.
And
All this forgiveness offers you and more. So when I read that, I said, oh, I'm going to forgive everything and everybody because I want that.
I want that.
I want that.
All of
I
that.
like the heaviness on the eyelids. That was my favorite part. The heaviness. Yes. Yes.
So Lolly, you see what you did when you talked about surrender? You can't have it if you don't surrender. Surrender comes first.
Yeah.
We need to print a t-shirt.
I wanted to add in to what Bridget was saying about the putting your mask on first. When we put our mask on first, what I saw as a child, let's say I'm the child, when I see you put yours on first, I relax because you did it for yourself. So I can relax that you're going to do it for me. Because if, you know, first you take yourself, if I'm trying to put it on you, you do this, you do this, you do this. It could be the right thing to do, but I don't see you do it. So I take care of myself now. Now the baby is more relaxed because mommy has done it. And now it's coming to me. And when mommy did it, she was able to breathe. When mommy forgave, she was lighter, the household, because, you know, we set the tone of the house. We're going to set the tone. So when we do it, take care of ourselves first, then we are that example of what is to come. So I just saw that when we were saying that, put your mask on first. It's not only to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of everybody else, but it's also an example of when I do it for me, then the child or anyone else would trust, okay, then I should do. But sometimes there's no conversation. Sometimes it's only the action. There's only the action. Well, I saw her do that, and I grabbed my mask and put it on too. So what we do is very important. And to surrendering, back to that surrendering, Miss Lolly. I had Lolly all in my dream last night, and her friends.
My
friends too.
Your friends too. It wasn't a nightmare. It was a good dream, but just that whole point of surrendering, going through this day. Let's take it one day at a time, and then one day at a time. Okay, let's break that up into 1 hour at a time. Then let's go further, and let's say every moment to be in the mode of surrender. God's will be done. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. And I trust that will. I trust that will be done. And if shit comes out, I will look at my shit and not be offended by it, because it is what I actually put in. I actually put it in, whether it's through my thoughts, whether it's what I read, whether it's what I heard. When I go on the TV, and it has different hosts. So is it Pam's host, Pam's station, Sheila's station, Philip's station? Philip's station has nothing but killing people. So everything is about the mafia, and it's about, just killing and killing and killing. So I need to find something and put that on my station of those, because there's plenty of stories out there about, like changing your life and doing something good and going through their trials and tribulations and coming out, finally seeing who they are and who God is and blah, 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 blah. But somebody's going to die if you're on the station. Somebody's going to get beat up. and so, because what is that, the algorithm or something, whatever that is, then that's what they pick up. And he is the most gentle guy ever if you want to meet. Well, it's like, okay, so it's what you're feeding, what you're listening to, what you eat, and being able to process that, like that doctor. That was one of the most profound things that I've ever heard. And when she tells you what she sees, she gives you the analogy of that. It's like, wow, that is right. Yeah, that is right. So you need to blah, 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 blah. This would help that, So it would be great to just take that moment each time, not just the bad things, but the good things, so that we know, wow, yeah, I did this and that was good. That was good for me. My body likes that, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to share on what Bridget was saying about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And forgiveness is a part of that process of surrendering. A lot of times, you see people be washed clean. And Christianity is talking about the blood of Jesus, wash it clean. Okay. So there's some type of sacrifice you have to make in your life. You got to learn how to, you know what? I'm going to let this go. I'm going to cut that off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to indulge in this anymore. I'm going to sacrifice that. And I'm going to forgive myself. So I'm acknowledge, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. And I have I'm very much a part of why I'm here. I did that. Okay. I did that. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make that sacrifice for my life. I'm gonna look toward the light. I'm gonna make a change, and I'm gonna forgive myself. And now I'm gonna allow myself to follow in whatever next steps Spirit has for me to follow. So that's a whole process right there.
Mm-hmm.
Of putting that white garment back on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna require you cut it off. Cut that off. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Move forward. It's all connected. It's all connected. Mama Juanita.
Oh my God. Really, this is really Reverend Omani's territory, but I just want to share the homework she gave me yesterday, a forgiveness exercise. And I haven't started my homework yet, but I'm gonna. And the exercise is to write in a journal.
Wait. You don't get to
Okay,
share that.
Mama.
Wait,
Mike,
wait,
you
wait, wait.
take it from here. You
No,
take it from
wait a
here.
minute. This is just what, oh, I'm sorry. Good morning.
Take
Good
it from here.
morning,
Good
Grand
morning.
Rising.
Grand rising, beautiful Elizabeth. Listen, this the deal. It's what we talking about. You don't get to share it until you put your own oxygen mask on first. How you gonna share something and you ain't done it? Get out of here.
Ah,
We
okay.
forgot to tell you, Juanita, Reverend Amani don't play.
I don't play. I don't play.
I know, because she's
I'm
Elizabeth's
not
sister.
gonna
I already
play.
know.
Put your own oxygen mask on, and then you can come share with us what happened with you, and then we'll put on our oxygen mask and see what will happen for us. Come on now, let's do the work.
Okay.
I hope you share the rest of it though.
No, no, I want you to do the work and then come share it, because that's where it's gonna make a difference. I've done this work. I keep myself in the space of forgiveness. That's where I live.
Ashe. We don't, girl, you, Mama Head, you are very, very muted. Okay, Sanji.
She know what I said.
No, well, we didn't hear it. Okay, Mama Sanji.
Yes, Grand Rising sisters.
Grand Rising.
Rising.
You know, and I sit here and I soak all of this in, and it's beautiful information. And I just give praise for everything. But if you know with me, and each time I come on here, I always talk about my daughters.
That's your heart.
Yes. And really what I'm trying to, it's a struggle, but I'm trying to teach them that.
You're
You
not.
know,
How many
you're not doing
things
that.
she got to do? She done said trying about 3-4 times.
Yeah. Well, let's get some clarity around that word. You are either doing or you're not doing. That word gives leeway for it not to be done. So if you're working on that every day of your life, every moment, you are not doing that. You are putting this in place, are you? And that helps me to not say that, because when you say that, you give yourself the space to not complete what you have set out to do.
Oh, can I just add, can I add something a little bit to that?
Yes.
What I'd like to add to that is this, you guys. We actually think that if we are doing that, and I'm just going to put it in quotes, if we are trying, we actually think we're producing a result. Trying does not produce a result. You know, you're trying every day, you're doing it with your daughters, but guess what? You're not getting a result, which is an extraordinary relationship with your daughters.
Yes.
So you have to take that out, because you are then open the way for the result of an extraordinary relationships with your daughters to happen.
Yes.
With that word in there, all you're doing is jumping hurdles every day and falling over because you're not getting what you want. So doing that, you're not producing a result, and you want the result.
Declare it every day. Declare it.
Yeah. Okay, Sanji, you may keep on going.
No. And actually, I know we are very smart queens, and I enjoy listening to everyone. But what I'm trying to do is to
you went right back to that word.
But my thing is, when you surrender to the will of God, what if things do not turn out the way that when you surrender, you thought it would turn out that positive way, but it didn't? And I'm coming to terms with realizing to accept, like what my mom has always told me, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, but so what that sounds like, Sanji, is that if you're gonna surrender with conditions, that's just like that 3-letter word. If you're gonna surrender, you're gonna surrender to how it looks, because the way we've been doing the thing has been going like this. You got that example right here, it's been going like this. So when you do it you want to do it a different way this time for a different result, because you're going to keep getting the same results. So when you surrender without conditions, you take the 3-letter word. That 3-letter word ain't nowhere in SU. One letter is only one, just one letter.
Okay.
So you want to. I want to change. I want to surrender. I will surrender. I am surrendering. I'm going to surrender. Declare it. Confirm it with an exclamation mark. Because that other one's like, "Ooh, girl, I'm a blank to make it to work today, and that's why you be late. Because you need to work to make it to work today. 5 minutes late every day. 5 minutes late."
So can I just say something too about what she's saying though? It's like when okay, I can't remember what she said. She's like, okay, that like it is what it is, basically is what she said. But basically I can hear after that is you allowing and accepting your daughters as they are and as they are not. And when you start to accept them and allow them to be who they are, you're going to have more space to play with them.
Does that make sense, baby?
I'm trying to soak it in to see,
to allow them to be the woman that they are, learn the lessons they have to learn, trust that you've done your job already. Because if you really look at
right,
you've done your job.
Right.
Yeah, you've done your job.
Right.
So now y'all don't wait a minute. See, now y'all don't make me get up. I was just laying down, enjoying the show. Jesus. It's just trying to make me jump up. What the hell? Hold on.
Yeah, because it's more.
I love me some Reverend Omani. I love me some Reverend Omani. I love me some Reverend Omani.
Yeah, there's more than you involved.
Well, actually, it's even deeper than that. You need to get out of their way. How old are your daughters?
21 and 15.
Okay, listen. Listen. The 15-year-old, she got about 5 more years of testing you.
Hey, we talked about that.
Okay,
she got more years of what?
We don't start liking our mamas again till we get about 21, 22 when we get what they did is doing right. So everybody know that. As a woman, we know that. So your daughter, she gonna continue testing you, but you just got to know it's inside of a test. Relax your grip on her because she just want to know if what you taught her from the birth to 12 is the truth. All she doing is testing to see if it's the truth.
She rolling in the mud with her suit on. So one other thing though, Mama Sanji, I learned in my transformation that a lot of the lessons that I think that I got for somebody else are the lessons I need to run past the mirror for myself. So the things, even when you're talking to her, y'all both, if you want to do this, to take both of you in the mirror and say, da da da, say your name. We need to, or you need to, and y'all can talk to yourselves, because like I said, sometimes I want to go get somebody told about what I think they need to know. Run it by the mirror first, because it's probably for you, because what you have to teach, the things that come to you and resonate in your mind, you can gift them to someone else, but they not for nobody else. These are your lessons that you got to learn. This what happened to me. I don't know if what happened to you. This what happened to me. Yeah, so I said, let me go run this by the mirror. And when I get done running it by the mirror, I'm like, I can save my breath. I ain't got to waste my breath on nobody else, because then now I'm going to be what I said I'm going to do. So now I'm going to go do.
Yeah, and another access to that too is because it is the mirror principle. You could Google it. It's called the mirror principle. Everybody in your life, especially the ones you're having a hard time with, they are mirroring back to you something that you're incomplete with, something you haven't done. If you look at your daughters and go, have I ever done that? The answer will probably be yes. Okay, well, when I did that, did I want somebody to forgive me and give me some grace? The answer would be yes. You already got another access into your daughter.
You got all the secrets.
She just mirroring back to you, maybe places that you incomplete.
Look, our DNA put it right on in them. Because another thing we do is we give our children our fears. They know our fears because they watch us operate.
Exactly.
Mhm.
They feel them. Listen, you guys, they feel them too.
Yeah.
We're mostly an emotional body. You know, a lot of times with moms, I can tell if a mom is at peace by how their kids are.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
My friend, she got a beautiful little boy, and beautiful little boy. One day she asked me to watch him, and he was doing all kind of stuff, hitting his head up against the wall, sitting on the high stool chair, falling off. I'm like, what the hell wrong with my baby today? When she got there, I'm like, girl, what are you dealing with? She was like, what makes you think that? Because I'm like, True over here beating his head up against the wall, falling all out. Oh, then she go, okay, and start telling the truth about what she was dealing with rather than trying to hide it, pretending like she was all that in a bag of chips.
Mhm. So Sanji, with all that said, share what you we love you so much, and we want to be empowered and give you things that will empower
Yeah.
you, and so
Yes,
that
and I've got to stop making them so scared,
Yes.
because what I've gone through and what I know, the lessons I've learned,
yeah,
because it may not turn out for them like it turned out for me.
yeah,
Exactly.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And Sanji, when we surrender,
there's that
we
word again.
don't know whatever's going to happen next. We don't know what that looks like. So we can't come into surrender thinking about what has already happened. That's old. That's gone. We don't know what's next. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what it looks like. However, we done surrendered and we're on the journey. So just walk the journey. Your girls, they're gonna be fine because you know what you put in them. The promise in the Bible is raise up a child in the way that he should go. And the promise is when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's the promise. And you have done that. And you're walking your walk with your daughters, and they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. And you
Mhm.
got to make sure that you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because when that emptiness comes, it's just going to be you. And you can't be stuck in what you thought you should have done and you feel like you didn't do, because then when they're gone, you got to get rid of that first instead of being at peace, because you're where you should be when the emptiness comes, and you said they're going to be fine. And stop looking for what you think it should look like, because it's not going to.
Yeah.
Let the Holy Spirit just blow your mind, girl.
Mm-hmm.
You
Blow
know,
your mind.
my
I
mom, yeah, my mom, one of my sisters, was always telling, like, you didn't do that. You don't even know who my father is, blah, blah, blah. You like them more than me and stuff. And I kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. We got to the point where I said, Mom, you have raised us, and whatever was done was done. Do not allow her to keep badgering you with this and making you feel like you're a bad mom, because you're wonderful. And because mama would she would just sit there and let her say whatever to her. I had to no, and tell her as well. You know, no, it's nothing. You can't change nothing. You can't change nothing in the past. And I know that everything Mama has done for us. Matter of fact, Mama told me one time, she was saying that one of the dads raped her, and all this time it has been my sister. And so when I asked her one time, she said, yeah, Charles did this here, and his brother came up and he was blah 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 blah. I said, you know what? I ain't going there. glad I'm glad I'm here. Of whatever happened for me to get here, whatever. And so I'm not going to go where she went in dealing with that. I'm just glad I'm here. You know, that was your past. That was what happened with you, and you've dealt with it. I look like both of y'all. So, you know, and I really just said, Mama, stop letting her do that. Don't do that. You've raised 6 children on your own. 6 children. My mama loved the Lord. My mama loved going to church. She did the best that she could. There was never anything that she did intentionally to hurt us. And if she did, so what? That's how we each took it. We were all dealing with my uncle, you know, in different ways. One went into depression, Pam. The other one was ready to kick his ass. The other one, I threatened him. If you ever touch my sister, I will. Can I told both of them, my mama and her and his wife, because he was my mom's brother. I said, if he touch any of them, I'm gonna kill him. I'm telling you that now. I was, you know, I was still in school, but everybody deals with stuff in their own different ways. So you just be the example of love. You just and allow her to blossom as she will in her way, in her relationship with you. Just be there. Just be love. Be love. Just be love. Be that example. Because everybody ain't gonna be your best friend, even your children. Some you have different you're gonna have a different relationship with each one of them. One might want to always be right up under you. The other one, you can't even get them to be still. Pam and Tyrell are twins. Tyrell loves affection. Pam just wants you to leave her alone, give her a book. You don't want all that affection and stuff. And they're twins. So mama dealt with each of them, each of us like that, you know. So you are a beautiful sister. You girl. And then you know what? When that stopped, then she had nothing to fight against. You can't fight by yourself. You have to have somebody, the friction. But if one stops, then you out there by yourself. You either give it up, you know.
Or keep fighting by yourself, huh? And waste all that energy and time.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like you're right. If you know what, you're right. In your mind, you are right. That must be your experience and how you dealing with it. But stop taking it on yourself. You know if you've been if you are and have been a good mom, she'll get it. When she finds out, it doesn't bother you anymore because you know who you are and you know who you have been. And anything that forgive yourself, forgive her, do all that forgiveness so you can have whatever them things are on your eyes. What'd you say, Mama had? Them things that gets on your eyes. Yeah. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Any of
It
the
does.
sharing? Mm-hmm.
Queen Aduni, I can hear what you're saying because I was looking at Mama Sanji and I'm going, this sister is freaking beautiful. You're
Mm-hmm.
full of love. You're
Mm-hmm.
full of joy. You can see it just oozing out of you.
Right.
And the principle is the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to trust that the same thing that you're reflecting to the world is that as your daughters grow and mature and make their own choices, they're going to reflect the same thing back out into the world that you are, because you nurtured them. You gave to them. So it's back to the thing we keep bringing up, and that's like trust. It's not only trust we have to trust ourselves, but ultimately we have to trust God.
Right.
And we have to trust that God got it. I ain't got nothing. Because as soon as I get in a space that I don't trust, I have to call on God and pull from the trust that He already is. And then when I pull on that trust that He already is, then I am sufficient. So, you got to trust that you've done your job. You don't trust that you've done your job. You've done your job. The other thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to be quiet. Do you know that human mothers are the only ones that hold on to their baby? Them kids will be 40 years old, 50 years old, still holding on to them babies, right? A mama bird, when she done with you, she fly out the nest. You can fly out after her if you want to. If you don't, you just leave the nest because she out. Right? And look at the animals. Everybody, they have to go. Once they get a certain age as an animal, they have to go. The mamas be like, don't be looking at me. You better go get your own food, lions. Everybody, every other animal, just pay attention. You don't see no grown animal with their mama.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Listening and trying to see what she go do or what she go say.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's the other part that I always want to impart to moms. Moms are afraid to let their kids go, but I think it's part of they pour so much into their kids when they don't have no kids no more. Then what they go do? What they go do now? They ain't got no. Where my life at?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mhm.
really to start to really create and have your own firm foundation now that you have a young woman that you can trust. Because if you start to say to your daughters when they start going, ha, 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 if you start to say, okay, baby, I trust you, they will fall off their chair and do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When you start to tell them, okay, baby, what you want to do? I trust you. I trust your decision for yourself. They
Right.
they will grow in leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I want to say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to add that most children won't believe this when you tell them that we all chose our mother and our father when we were still a spirit. Before we came, we chose them because we know that we need who our mother is, we need who our father is in order to be who we are. Because we know why we came here, and we know, okay, I need them to be me in order for me to be me so that I could do what I came here to do. So they chose you. They chose you. They might not, oh my God, I just know I didn't choose this mother. Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll
And
begin
it's
to
a
see that as they get older, the hormones racing and going all kind of places, they're young, they think they know everything. They forget that you'll always be here longer than they will, because the years don't close in. But they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And you're gonna be fine too, because you're gonna be all right.
I,
Ask her, ask
I
her, ask her to ask her to write down everything. Write down what you don't approve and write down what you do approve of me. Don't make it mean anything, but just like,
okay.
just have that type of conversation. And when like one time Fame and I was going through something and he raised his voice, there was a few people there too. And when he raised his voice, I just said, bring it down in a very authoritative, because I let Fame share. We have a wonderful relationship. But when that little time was going on and he raised his voice and I said, hey, hey, bring it down. I am the elder here. I'm the mother.
Yeah.
Bring it down. You can talk to me and let's because I want you to be heard and I want you to be happy. You know, bring it down. And then just have it where, just write me, email me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or
let me
text.
email
They
you.
text
Or
in a
yeah,
minute.
so
So
we can
yeah,
just
just
share.
text me.
Yeah, we can share that way. And then you can get a better understanding of who I am and what I want in my life and what I want for you. And you do the same, because you know your babies love you. So express that. Let her express it in a respectful way, and you likewise, so you can just see, where are you, and what do you need from me? Yeah. What does she may need something different than what you're, you know, giving her. You know,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Before we go, Mama Evelyn, you had your hand up at one point. Are you complete, or do you still want to share that? And then we're going to go with Lolly. Oh,
Share what?
okay, never mind.
No, I didn't have my hand up.
Oh,
Can I just say one more thing to Mama Juanita?
yeah.
Okay, listen. After our conversation yesterday, and the three main points that we saw and we discovered that you're dealing with is mothering, nurturing and nourishing. That's the
Yes,
come I came
ma'am.
so strong. Yeah, because that's the deal. And you got to do that for yourself first.
It's
Mhm.
scary.
Okay, well, come on. You got people. It's 15, 20 Elizabeths on here. Somebody
Yeah,
hold your hand.
yeah.
Write that part down too, mama. Write the scary part down too.
Lord have mercy.
You
Mhm.
gotta
That's a
watch that little movie. Watch that little movie, Wendell and Wild. Watch that movie, and then I bet you be able to do your work. I bet
Mhm.
you will.
you did put the link in there, didn't you?
I know it's on Netflix.
Uh,
Wendell, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I did. Wendell and Wild. Y'all watch. Y'all got homework for Wednesday.
Wendell.
Wendell and Wild on Netflix. It's a little black girl, little character, little animation thing. Y'all be all right. You'll be all right. Just watch that. Watch that little story. It's really good. It'll really help take you to another, take you to the next level.
y'all know my homework plate is full until next Thursday.
I know. But take some time for you though. You better get you some you time in there in the miss. I don't care about all that.
Except for the homework
good.
you got yesterday. You can't wait on that. That's like a now homework. Because you can't do what you got to do for next Thursday if you're carrying that around.
I say,
Do
Y'all gonna get
now.
me,
that's exactly
y'all
what
gonna
I
get me together, ain't you?
Girl.
Lord, thank you.
I
Well,
teachers
and
in the room.
it's only scary because you don't know what it looks like. However,
Ooh.
Go ahead.
you done surrender to someone you trust, which is God. So you ain't got to be afraid of what you don't see.
Look at that shit. Go on, look at that.
And if you
so,
need to forgive yourself, do that.
yes, yes.
It just feels so different. It feels so different than what I'm used to. It's like, it just feels so different.
So if you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing, how do you
I
expect
know.
anything to be
I
different?
Ooh, y'all gonna help me through this. Thank you.
So sisters and queens and mommies and aunties and all of that. I just want to make this one announcement, and then Lolly's going to take us out with some music. Um, the the event on December the 4th has been canceled due to my mouth situation. On Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, know that I will not be eating no turkey or none of that, no kind of no dressing or nothing, because I will be on liquids. So that won't give me enough time to heal. And but we are still going to celebrate. I did put something in the chat about, and I have to talk to Baba Haru and everybody, but we're just going to turn it into a festivity with vendors, and where people can come there, and we're going to make stuff, make art, Mama Evelyn, and bringing just be a celebration of the holidays. And we're going to dance, and we're going to do and let people make their gifts instead of spending all that money. Make the gifts or some of their gifts and stuff. So it's a family event. Everybody come. We will, have the vendors. It'll be very affordable, like $5, something for the adults, $3 for the children. And we're just going to have a wonderful time, a celebration with one another, celebrating the holiday season. We will also, during the Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is every day of Monday through Friday and Saturday. So Monday through Friday, each of us, each day, we're gonna celebrate what that day means. So think on that. And yeah, so just letting you know what's going on. We'll do that show later on so I can heal, and maybe in February we'll see what happens. But that's where we are.
Vendors,
Pardon me.
you still have room for more vendors?
Yeah, the whole thing is vendor now.
How do vendors sign up?
I had to get all that together because this decision was made when I walked out of the dentist.
You still working.
It still will not. And plus I had to, talk to everybody. I had to change the flyer. I had to do all of that. We have plenty of time for that.
That
What's
helps you Your moment. That's how you get through your moment. You work through it. That's what I was talking about.
Walk, keep
That
on
worry
moving.
turn it into something to do.
Yep.
I got a hot spot going on here because vendors are signing up with me that I really need to send directly to you for the next thing. So at this point, because I'm saying to them, because they're like, everybody's like, oh, and we can do more. And I'm like, okay, and we got something else coming up on December 4th. So you want me to just send them your phone number for now or what? That's a bit much.
Yeah. No, I just let me, it'll take a day or two.
Okay.
And I just need to just change, create the flyer and put it out there, and it'll
All
tell
right, love.
everybody what to do. But we're just gonna celebrate, be together, invite all our friends, and put a lot of art out there and spontaneous. Let me tell you, when Baba Haru, when that music comes in, and I'm gonna talk to Ife, Baba Ife, and my husband, Phil, and we're just gonna have a good time. We're just gonna celebrate. Yeah, we ain't gonna be deep. We're gonna be fun. All right, Lolly.
Yes. This was great, you all. This was beautiful.
Thank you.
Start this out, Lolly.
I just had to breathe. That was no, honestly, I think we all got something out of it. And if we didn't, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Put it in the lesson file.
Right.
Definitely.
I love how Mama had earlier said, can we learn through experiences? And we've all been able to share an experience that we all could learn from in some way. This is amazing, talking about surrendering and forgiving and just all of that. So I want to close this out with a song that I recorded a video for. It's called Sunchild, and it's basically, the essence of it is that you might be in a certain situation, but you got to keep running towards the sun, run towards the light, get out that dirt, take a shower, and put your white on. That's what this is about. So I'm gonna just close this out with this. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Queen Aduni, for this space as well. And if you could let me share my screen, then that would be beautiful.
To ask you, do you want?
Yes, please.
Better do our hugs now.
Oh yes. Queen Aduni, you want to lead the hugs real quick?
Let me give you the power.
Okay.
Power. All right, give yourself a big hug. Sanji, we are all these powerful mothers are with you. Just know we are the ancestors. You got the ancestors, and you have the on the earth ones. We are with you. You be powerful, because you are one of the most beautiful sisters I've ever met.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I appreciate the sisterhood. Yes.
Okay, now hug the world. I'm throwing this on your daughters.
I know.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
Okay. Well, I'll see everybody Monday.
Okay, she's gonna play the music.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
I never knew
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Holly.
Yes, thank you. That was
Thank you.
gorgeously amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Girl, now you know, Lolly.
You can't be mad at your situation, so you better run.
Run.
Run to the sun.
Run to the sun. Right. I love that. Yeah. Don't just sit there. Surrender. Get up.
He
Run.
didn't say
Do something.
Right. Enchanted elements. What do you say? Elemental enchantment is tonight, you guys. Ohana. So if you want to come to Ohana Garden, please come through.
Okay. Can Phil come? If you don't have
If you can get there, you can come.
I'm talking to Baba Peru.
Oh, Bob want to bring his keyboard. Bob, yeah, right.
All right.
Stuff. All instruments welcome. Yeah, for element enchantment, Baba. Yeah.
Well, we gotta figure out where to hook him up.
That we'll get it. We'll figure it out.
Well, he'll bring his own speaker.
Okay.
If he doesn't have a gig, I'm sure will be there. I'll be there with my mask.
Yeah, he said he has a speaker.
Okay, cool. That'll work.
What is it? 38 Church Street, Highland Park. 38 Church Street, Highland Park.
What time?
8 o'clock.
8 until.
Till you tired. Okay. 38 Church Street, Highland Park is 1 block south of 6 Mile on Woodward.
Mm-hmm. Peace out.
All right, y'all. Love y'all.
Love you.
I'll put it in the WhatsApp.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Okay. I'll do that. Okay, Juanita, I gotta call you afterwards because I gotta find out about the thing on Thursday.
All right.
Okay, baby.
Come on. I'll call you back if it doesn't come through.
Okay.
All right, love.
Okay. Bye.